Carlos Nelson with Cascade Media Group, and today we have our illustrious sheriff of Jackson County. And I'm not saying that to be facetious. I'm saying that that's how I feel. He deserves all the accolades and some because he was our Kansas City police chief for years, and then, and as far as I'm concerned, he's serving double duty right now because I see the sheriff's cars at a lot of incidents where they really don't have no reason to be there except for they're protecting our public. So, without further ado, uh, the floor is yours, Sheriff Darryl Forte.
Well, thank you again for having me. I appreciate this opportunity once again. I know I had my own show for a while, but so many things were coming up and I was just preoccupied with things. So just thank you again for giving me this platform to share some things. Uh, First, I want to tell everybody out there, thank you for the support. I wouldn't be able to do this without so much community support. I mean, the entire metro community, not just the urban core, not just South or East or West or whatever. I've gotten so much support and I wouldn't be able to do this without the community support. And I want to share a few things with you. First, I'll talk about our core responsibilities. The sheriff's office has four core responsibilities, and that's provide judicial services, protection for our courthouses, serve in unincorporated areas, and those are areas where there's no other law enforcement agencies, and most of those are Eastern Jackson County. We have 5 districts, so when we're full, and it's 12-hour shifts, there's 5 deputies out there on patrol. And of course, we have some in fugitive abs, sex offender registration, those sorts of things. But another core duty is sex offender registration. We have over 2,500 registered sex offenders in Jackson County, and I've been told Jackson County has more sex offenders than any county in Missouri. So that's why we spend a lot of our time making sure we track sex offenders. And contrary to what some people believe, we spend a lot of time in the urban core tracking sex offenders. And I'll just give you one example, a recent sweep, not our last one, but we checked 39 locations for sex offenders, and these were in the zip codes 641, 27, 28, and 30. And if I remember correctly, those are the highest violent crime zip codes in Kansas City, Missouri. So we do those kind of things. We don't put it out often because we don't want the sex offenders to know what we're doing. We do something almost every month. And we just started incorporating once again having deputies doing their regular tour duty uh, throughout the entire county look for sex offenders. So that's part of their regular responsibilities when they have some free time. And another thing we're charged with is overseeing the detention center. And I'll give you a little bit of information about that real quick. There's a detention center being built right now with 1,000 beds. And there's been some discussion about that, especially recently, because I think as of the day, we had 1,088 people in custody. And people were saying, well, why didn't you make it bigger and all this kind of stuff? We just made it big enough because that's what the county could afford. And this is my answer to some of you all, is that wouldn't you rather have 1,000 bed facility that's decent and with opportunities, rooms, and space for training than having a dilapidated place where the plumbing's constantly breaking, windows are being broken out from the outside or inside, and people are bringing in contraband. So, yes, I understand the discussion about it, but if I was there, I'd rather have a decent facility, clean, and those sorts of things than have an old dilapidated place with the same number of beds. So I talked about the judicial protection, sex offender registration, unincorporated areas. Let me think what else. Sex offender. I think I got them all. The detention center, sex offender, judicial services, and unincorporated areas. And we spend a lot of time in the urban core, especially me. I still respond to homicide scenes. I went to one yesterday. I think that's important for me to
Tell our
continue to be.
community what that was about. Give them a bird's eye view real quick.
What's that?
What you went to yesterday, tell the community how that unfolded and what you saw.
Okay, I went to the scene. That's where the 15-year-old was killed, and he was transported by private conveyance out to a hospital in Lee Summit. The scene was actually at 88th place in Kansas City on James A. Reed. So I went out there after the fact because of course he was pronounced dead at the hospital. But I like going to scenes to let people know I'm still engaged, I'm accessible. As far as I know, I'm one of the few law enforcement officials top at an agency that give my number out and people can reach out to me for different things. So I want to continue to be visible. I've been this last month marked 40 years. I started my career 40 years ago, and I've been accessible from the time I first started. So I think that's important. And then not only the homicide scene, I patrol around regularly. I try to spend at least 4 hours out in the field. I went to Grandview yesterday. I traveled around Grandview. I went to Lone Jack. I went to Lake Tapawingo. I went to Levacy. I went to Sibley. I ride all day long. I don't post it all the time because if I post one location and don't post the other ones, they'll say you never come here. But I try to ride every day and talk to people, and I think that's why I have so much support because
All
I don't
right, this
sit
is
in the
what I
office.
want you to do. You said all of that. Give our audience when your day starts and when it ends for the most part.
It varies. It started this morning about 7, and it's about 4:43 here now. And I'm guessing if everything goes as planned, I'll leave at 7:30 today. And this is what I've tried to do over and over. I'm trying not to work every day, but I don't like not calling people back. I don't like not because I put myself out there, and
That's
and and,
I'm
and
cutting
I
you off. I'm cutting you off on that
that's okay.
because audience, every time I call this man, he gets back with me, not cause I'm media. He gets back with me, Nelson, I'm busy, I'm at the scene. Nelson, my wife is in the hospital. I'm here doing this. I gotta run out here. You know I want to do the show, but his priority has been serving our community. And most of the people that know me, you know I don't suck up to people. And I'm giving it to you straight. We have got to support the sheriff in whatever endeavor he is involved in because he has our community's interest at heart. And when he mentioned those 1,000 beds, I hate to say things like this. When I was younger, I've been in the county and all that type of stuff. When you have a decent place with decent supervision and it's clean, you're going to turn some people around if you have programs in
Absolutely.
that place. Floor
And
is
and, and
yours.
that's and thank you. I appreciate that. And I respond back to you because I appreciate what you do. And I wish you got I know you get a lot of support. I wish you got more because you have a voice and it's not watered down. You can say what you want to say. You can do some things that you want to do because nobody owns you. And so many outlets and so many different individuals, they're worried about what they're gonna eat tomorrow. And this is what my mother told me from the start of this thing. You work for God, don't worry about man. I've been told over and over, Darryl, you shouldn't say that. You shouldn't do this. And I try to be respectful in most things. I've made mistakes before because, I'm human and I've said some things I probably shouldn't have said before. But I think about my mother raising 5 of us by herself, and she was vocal. She did only income, and we made it. So that she was a role model for me, saying, as long as it's respectful, and you can say whatever you want to say, as long as it's respectful, even to her. As long as it's respectful. She's still alive. I'm still respectful to her because I have to be, and I need to be, and it's a godly principle. But I say some things, not trying to hurt people, but I just tell you the truth. I tell you the truth about racial profiling in law enforcement. I know what I've been through internally. I got stopped, and I'll tell you this real quick. I got stopped last year after the election in November 2024 uh, by a guy that was I was going coming eastbound. He was going westbound. He made a quick U-turn to come after me. He said I was going 51, I think, in a 35. But this is the odd part about it. When I saw him look at me, it's like his eyes got real big. He turned in front of a UPS truck, almost hit the truck. The truck had to brake real heavily. So he comes up behind me. I'm in uniform in a county car. He knows it. He knows who I am because he joked about the election. He asked to see my driver's license and proof of insurance for the county car. And this is the odd part about it. I have no problem with that. He's very polite. But I had a little discussion with another officer in Kansas City at a homicide scene that told me I couldn't park somewhere. I said, yes, I could. I can park there. And he said, well, cars are coming over the hill and they hit the cones twice already. My mindset was thinking, you just can't say anything to me because if they hit the cones already, you'd move the cones and go in a different position. So I wasn't even listening to him. So I was walking back to my car and I said, hey man, do me a favor. You need to learn how to talk to people. He rolled the window up and said, end of discussion. Rolled the window. his last name was the same last name of the guy that stopped me in another jurisdiction. It didn't click until later. I'm thinking, oh, that's why his eyes got big when he saw me and looked at me. And this is what happened at the scene. And the officer, and I won't identify him. I even talked to the chief if she wanted to know his name. I wouldn't give her the name because I'm not doing
Right.
all that. But I think when I talked to him, that might have been good enough. And I hadn't seen him since then. And that was November last year. But it was a lady standing close to him in her front yard and said, "Hey, Chief, can I talk to you for a minute?" I said, "Yes." I walked over there and she said, "This is the guy's last name that's dead. This is who he works for. I have his telephone number if you want his cell phone number." And I said, can you hold on a minute? Let me get a detective up here. And she said, "F them. You see how that MF just talked to you? That's how they do us." And you the chief. I said, "No, I'm the sheriff." She said, "Look how he talked to you. That's why we don't want to talk to him." And that was in front of him. So that's why I get out there because people don't mind giving me information. I got something last night where somebody was saying they had problems trying to give somebody some information. That's why I'm out here, and that's why I care. That's why
You
I
know
care.
what
And I don't make
happened?
it.
You remember I talked to you earlier? I said that I had done some things. Now it came back. It was a picture of you and Pastor Ron Lindsay, and
Uh-huh.
I commented. I said something about these are two good men that are representing our community. I wrote something kind of
Uh-huh.
I thought
Thank you.
slick, and
Thank
when
you.
you say
And
about the creator, I'm like you. I feel your arms are too short to box with God. And what God has me doing, that's my mission.
absolutely.
And that I found my purpose. And I think from interviewing you and having you on, you found your purpose in
Absolutely.
law enforcement. And you're not going by what somebody else is doing. You're going by your morals, how you were brought up, and what you learned in that academy, and what you've learned on the job, and you're putting that into effect.
Absolutely. And I knew in the academy I'd be different. I knew exactly in the academy I'd be different because when they talked about, your job is to go home every day, and this is 1985, your job is to go home. I said, what about everybody else going home? That's when they started talking to me. And then other things, when we had meetings, I remember we had a KC Together meeting under a great chief. He was trying to get some racial relations going and improve, I guess, and internally. And somebody said, "I don't see color." I said, "Yes, you do. You see light blue and dark blue." And then they called me out in the hall that time, and I was a major then. But I
They call you out
always
in the
spoke
hall.
up. Yeah. They called me out and say, "Hey, you gotta watch what you're saying, and all that kind of stuff." I'm like, "No, if you want to have a meeting and we're gonna talk about some things, we're gonna talk about some because some people were afraid because they were worried about getting promoted." And no, sir, I was never worried about getting promoted because and I came on 1985, 1987, I started my own company. It was called Delory. My wife's name is Lori, my name's Darryl. And I got my exterminator's license, so I started my own company because I told my wife, I'm gonna have to do something different because they might come after me. So they can't control me because we got our own money. If I get suspended, I can make more money on contracts doing this. So I started that and throughout my entire career, and I'm still a licensed exterminator. I got some other companies going right now, and I don't have to now because if I could just quit and never do anything again in life. Because I thought I was gonna quit. The day I retired in May 2017, I told my mom on the way home, I'll never speak in public again, and I'll never drive in rush hour traffic. And within 2 months, I think I took my LSAT in June. I had an interview at UMKC Law School. August, I started law school. So and that was 18, and I went all the way through, and then I got the job here at the sheriff's office. I was appointed by the county executive Frank White Jr. May of 2018. So 10 days of shy of being retired, I was getting sworn in at the sheriff's office, and and from that point on, I was in law school at the same time, and that's real hard. If you ever been in law school and thing, that's it's difficult there, and I'd been out of school 30, 40 years or whatever. So I was going there, and then I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. But I think it's just my ego and pride. I stayed in there long enough to get my master's of law at UMKC Law School, even when I was a new sheriff here. I
And I want to break you off again because you talked about that prostate cancer, and
Yeah,
that's when me and you really started hooking
yeah,
up. And
yeah,
I was having some after effects, and you called me out the clear blue sky and was saying it's gonna get better. And you coached me, and you called me
yeah.
another month later. How's he doing? Blah blah blah. And I told you I did the interview with Terry Noonan earlier, and
Uh-huh.
one of the things that stand out in that interview and what we talked about, he was talking about the type of people he looks to recruit and this and that. And the main thing, Big C, character. And
Mhm.
you have character.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And I think about not embarrassing my family. I think about you know, just being there where I don't have to worry about my phone ringing or somebody trying to get me in trouble. Because they come after me numerous times, and it's good that they have because it taught me some things. And I'll give you a couple examples. When I was a major at the police department, it was a black female having problems in her element. So I got 7 other people. We went over there, prayed for her. So they started calling us the Gang of Eight. They put us all on social media, but I'm thinking if you're gonna beat me up for praying, that's fine. I get to the sheriff's office, and they had a policy about people being searched when they came in, attorneys and everybody. It was policy. Nobody had followed the policy. I said, we're gonna follow the policy. And guess what? They start calling it Broadgate because somebody said they'd take off the broad. Nobody did. And then everything went away just fast. I'm
They
gonna do
throw it
what's
on the
right.
wall, see whether it stick.
Absolutely. And we have different rules. We have different rules for us. Some of us do. I don't know about everybody else, but some of us have different rules. I had to come to work every day, all day for 5.5 years. I came and sat in the office. I didn't even ride around a lot because I wanted to know the culture of the sheriff's office. And I can guarantee you, and I can safely say, honestly say, our culture has changed here. We have a lot of decent people here. Some of the people that weren't so decent, they left on their own. I was willing to pay some to go, but we didn't have to get to that point because they left on their own. And I'm telling you, we had 4 black males the day I walked in May of 2018. We have 14 or 15 black males now. We have 2 black males in the academy, a total of 7 people. And I haven't hired anybody based on race or gender. I'm hiring quality people. And if you hire quality people, you'll get some of everyone. So that's what we're doing now. I have another guy that left. He left 6 months ago. He's coming back in 2 weeks. So this is a great place, and I'm telling you, we're serving our community well. And I think not because of me, because I have a great team around me.
So, in closing, Sheriff, what would you want to say to our public?
I say continue to support law enforcement. This is a great time to be in law enforcement, especially for the leaders, because we can control some of the things that happen. We can monitor who we hire. That's a huge piece of everything. And that's why I have deputies sometimes go to the urban core and participate in some things so people can see that we're good people. We're not corrupt. And most people in law enforcement are good people. Most is not good enough. We're trying for all of them to be good people in law enforcement.
Hey, Sheriff, it's a plum pleasing pleasure. This is Mr. Watts. I'm parroting how he closes. It's a plum pleasing pleasure to have you on the show tonight.
My pleasure.
That's
Thank you.
that's Jim. Hi, don't thank me. I'm Snively Whiplash. I tie Sweet Nell to the train tracks and wait for Dudley Do Right to come undo it. So, as we always close, when you invest in your community, you're really just investing in yourself. Good night.
This is brought to you by Kansas City Business Association, working to improve our community.